What is up, everybody? This is Jay with YAIM Gaming here to talk about Season 5, Episode 11 of The Walking Dead. So, what happens? This week, they brought Aaron back to the barn, where Rick proceeded to sucker punch him, and Michonne steals Abraham's line from the comics with the, just for clarification, I thought that was a, this guy is cool look, not a, we're going to knock this guy out look. I don't know the exact wording, but it's something similar to that. But that's fucking hilarious that she did that. I was hoping that line would be tossed into the show somehow, and they did it with Michonne instead of Abraham. So I'm kind of worried a little bit about Abraham. We'll get into that. And we made it to Alexandria. So let's get right into it. So they bring Aaron into the camp. Maggie and Sasha do. And of course, Rick is like, whoa, who the fuck is this guy? You know, they search him down, they pat him down. They had already taken his weapon from him and his backpack. Rick gets the backpack from Sasha as Aaron tells him to go through it, and he looks at the pictures. And he sees the picture of the wall, and that is what they show you. He proceeds to tell them that it's a 15-foot wall, it's 12-foot wide panels, 15-foot high. They're solid steel. They're reinforced with, as you can see, looks like wood poles holding the wall up. Now, I keep up with my spoilers, and I'm not gonna divulge any information here, but yeah, it's pretty cool looking. They did an excellent job with it, making Alexandria look like what it should have looked like from the comic books. Now, so Rick sucker punches him, and Aaron goes on to say it doesn't matter how many people he tells him are out there because he's not going to believe him. And this is where Michonne's starting to step up and go, look, man, maybe we need to listen to this guy. Maybe we need to go with what he's saying because we can't live like this. You know, we can't live in this barn. We can't just live on the road. We have to find some semblance of a community setting or some semblance of just life without having to worry about everything around the next corner. I agree with her. Now, do I think Rick is being just a little overly cautious? Maybe just a little bit, but you can't blame the guy. I mean, everything they've been through, everything that's happened to them up to this point has made Rick who he is at this moment. Now, so they split up into two teams because they know that Aaron's not alone when he says that he can carry 15 people. So they know that he couldn't have driven one car. And I think he even in fact says that there's one other person out there. So we get a little snippet of Glenn, Abraham, Maggie, and who else? Rosita? Maybe Sasha. I can't remember if there was anybody else. You see Glenn kind of trying to take control of that little group right there. And they come upon a few walkers in the woods when they find the RV and the car. Now, Abraham and Rosita go to take out these walkers, and you see Abraham miss and just kind of slash one across the chest. Of course, its arm falls off because why not? It's a rotted corpse, right? So they go on a little bit farther. Now, what's wrong with Abraham right there? What's going on with him? Is he still messed up from the whole Eugene thing? As you see, they have a little talk once they're in the RV, and they made sure it was clear. You see him asking her if she knew that he wasn't going to hurt her after the whole Eugene thing. What do you people think about that? I think he's just a little messed up in the head right now. He's not all there. He's still trying to gather his wits. And maybe he will come about once they get inside Alexandria. As you see when they're driving up and they see DC out in the distance, that he's a little more lively, a little more fun-loving. So, anyways, so the group split up. They come back to the barn with the RV and the Chrysler New Yorker is what it looks like. They pull up. And they agree that they are going to leave at night. This is where you see Michonne coming out and having another one of those talks with Rick and asking him if he is serious about going. And where Rick replies, yes. So, the group split up. And it looks like Rick, Glenn, Michonne, and Aaron are in that Chrysler car, and the rest of the group is in the RV. Now, they're driving down the road. Now, Rick specifically stated that they would not take the direct route. I'm guessing he said this because he did not want it to be ambushed, booby-trapped. He caution. This guy is very cautious at this point. He's been through a lot. He's very cautious. I don't think that was the right move. I think he probably should have taken the more direct route instead of taking the side road. So they run into a herd, which is a very cool scene. You get to see the blood splattering all over the windshield. I kept yelling at the TV going, just turn the wipers on. It's like, how bad can it be? But that was a really cool scene. After that, you get to see Michonne ripping the arm out of the car and everything else, all the guts and stuff that's stuck underneath the hood and into the front grill. Of course the car wouldn't start, right? And that's like typical horror movie thing right there. The key part of that whole drive, though, was when Michonne is looking at the pictures that Aaron had from Alexandria Safe Zone. She's looking at the pictures and she's like, how come no pictures of people? And his kind of quirky little reply is, oh, I had one, but the exposure didn't turn out. Wherein she begins to ask him the 3 questions. How many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed? Why did you kill them? I think right there at that point, Michonne was like, maybe this guy is lying. Maybe the old Rictator is right all along. That's what I'm thinking. But they didn't have time to hash that out as that happened. Then they see the flare go off in the distance. Immediately, Aaron freaks out, knowing that something's wrong with his buddy, and then that the RV is not behind them. So they go out into the woods. Aaron just runs off without the rest of the group. Those 3 stick together. Rick, Michonne, and Glenn stick together. Glenn somehow gets separated from them when they're out in the woods. It's dark. I can imagine that's a pretty scary situation. The road flare into the walker, that was pretty cool. Made him a jack-o'-lantern there for a minute. It was a really cool scene. And I like how they got into depth with that a little bit on the Talking Dead afterwards. It was pretty cool how they made that happen. Glenn saves Aaron from a walker, hands him a gun. They meet back up with Rick and Michonne, and Aaron immediately hands over the gun. No harm, no foul. I think all was clear right there that he needed his help to get rid of the problem. They make their way to the water tower, which is a little town. Daryl sitting outside. The RV's there. Everybody's safe. We find Aaron's lover, Eric. So how do y'all feel about having a gay couple on The Walking Dead? In the comic books, there was a couple different gay characters. One we have yet to see yet. Hopefully coming soon. I hope they put that guy in there. It doesn't bother me. I mean, you expect there has to be at least a couple of people out there that are, gay. So, whatever. I don't know how some of the trolls are going to take that. I can imagine they're going to run with it pretty hard. Rick was fixing to not agree to let Aaron stay with Eric in that, where it looks like a warehouse. And I don't know why. I guess he's just worried that maybe with the 2 of them they could take down the group. I doubt it. Maybe they'd run for help. I don't know. Eric had a broken ankle at the time. It looks like the rest of the group probably saved his life, and that's where you get the good stuff happening right there. So the next morning comes. They're getting ready to go. Rick says, "Hey, I got to take care of something real quick." Walks over to an abandoned house, finds a junk pile out back, and stashes a gun. Now, this is going to come back into play at some point later on in the show. Much like when he stashed the bag of guns outside of Terminus, how that came into play later on. He needed those weapons. So I guess he's figuring that they will take his weapons when they go into Alexandria. And if you saw the sneak peeks, you know that is one thing that is said in the sneak peeks, that they need to relinquish their firearms and weapons while they're in the city. Now, one key little piece of information, the conversation again between Rick and Michonne, is when Rick is telling her, "What did you hear outside of Woodbury?" It was silence. "What did you hear when you were outside of Terminus?" Silence. He said, I won't know if I will go inside of this place until I get there and find out what I hear. And when they pull up and they hear children laughing and playing, it's like a weight was lifted off of Rick at that very moment. And he knew that with children playing, it had to be somewhat of a decent place. I agree. They opened the gates, and we'll see next episode what happens on the inside. Another thing of note is Carol walking by and saying, it's okay that you're wrong, but you were also right. I don't know what she was saying. I think what she meant by that, and I'm paraphrasing what she said, I think what she meant by that was that it's okay to be wrong, that it wasn't a bad place, but he's also right in being cautious. That's what I'm gathering from that. So what do you guys think about this episode? What was your favorite parts? Let me know down below in the comments. If you're finding this by mistake, which there is no mistake in finding my channel, hey, subscribe, leave a like. I have no quarrels. But I hope you guys enjoyed my little review of The Walking Dead. If you want to see more, let me know. And I'll see y'all on the next one.